My beloved child, there are doors that look like blessings, radiant, inviting, yet once you step through, you find they are only a glossy coat laid over emptiness. Faith is not a fast-track ticket to touch the miraculous, but a slow road where every step asks for discernment and perseverance. Not every open door is from heaven, a reminder to the Lord's followers that what arrives quickly is not necessarily what comes from Him. There are doors that swing wide amid the world's cheers, yet close the heart to God. There are opportunities that seem like miracles, but are in truth a gust that tests your fragile faith. And there are sweet-sounding calls that hide a hand tugging you away from my light. Do not be quick to assume that everything that goes smoothly bears my mark. At times, the evil one also opens doors not to bestow grace, but to sow complacency. He knows how to dress himself in light and use pious language, so you will think you are on the right path. Only a soul that listens in silence perceives this. The true door from heaven always leads you into peace, while the counterfeit ushers you into the whirl of desire, comparison, and regret. Not a few grow weary of waiting and look for shortcuts, chasing promises of being transformed in the Lord's name. They forget that true grace does not arrive through formulas or counterfeit rites, but through a steady pilgrimage in His Word. You will see many signs, but ask yourself, after such wonders, does your heart grow tender before the Word of God, or does it swell with self-satisfaction? The Lord needs no tremors to be heard. He needs only a heart that bows and says, "Thy will be done." Therefore, a follower of Christ needs not only faith but wakeful eyes. There are lights that do not illumine, but only glare. There are blessings that do not nourish, but erode the soul. Learn to stand among open doors without rushing in, for the true door always asks you to pay the price of obedience, while the false door merely asks you to trade your impatience. From now on, let me lead you along the paths of discernment, where light and shadow are no longer so easily confused. Be watchful, child, not every voice that rings out is from Him. The world knows how to mimic the tone of vocation to make you act in haste, commit rashly, and lock yourself inside inflated emotions. The real sign of heaven never needs a countdown, no mystical theatrics, or illusory spiritual guarantees. When you hear an invitation, pause and ask, after this word, am I closer to God or closer to my own advantage? For only that answer opens the true door. There are mornings when you wake with a vague exhilaration, as if some calling is urging your heart. You think it is me, but it is only the echo of personal longing, the world having fanned it with sweet words and instant promises. The world can drape temptation in holiness. It can invoke calling and blessing to blind the soul to a false light. I do not summon you with noise. I usually whisper in the hush. Remember what my Son has said, "My sheep hear my voice. I know them and they follow me." John 10:27. Only those willing to stop to listen and to cleanse the heart of ambition's clamor can recognize the true call. I have seen many souls collapse on thresholds that seemed like heaven only because they mistook a hurried invitation for my sign. Temptation does not always arrive as obvious sin. Often it wears the shape of a good opportunity, a favorable job, a holy companion, or a door opening at the very moment you are weak. It strikes where you once prayed, so you will think, I have just answered. But true grace never comes to indulge the flesh. It comes to purify. When something makes you feverish, pressing you to decide now, know that it is often a sleight of hand from the enemy of souls. I never coerce, you are invited in freedom. Sometimes you ask me, why are you silent when I need a sign? Child, my silence is not abandonment. It is my refusal to let you form a habit of chasing noise. The devil is skilled at counterfeiting my voice. He knows it is gentle, so he imitates it with soothing words. He knows you fear being late, so he urges you to seize the sacred opportunity before it is too late. But true faith is not impatient. It knows how to wait, to endure, to let me lead step by step. My door does not open to a trembling hand, but to a heart tempered in the fire of trial. Do you see that the more you crave instant miracles, the more easily you are lured by enticing invitations? That is because your heart is seeking sensations more than seeking me. When the soul longs for rapid change, it can be led to places of smoke and false light. The world proclaims deliverance while skipping the way of the cross. It promises spiritual success, but never mentions dying daily. Be on guard, child. What feels pleasant at first often yields bitterness later. What is hard to welcome today is the seed of true blessing. I know you long to do what is right, to hear my voice, to know my will in every choice. But learn to sit down without doing, without deciding, simply silent, letting your heart grow still. In that stillness I will knock. My voice is not loud, it is like breath light, yet reaching to the marrow of the soul. You will know it is me, not by the sound, but by the fruit, peace, humility, and a desire to serve rather than possess. Remember, the fruit of the Spirit is love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, self-control. Galatians 5:2-23. Whatever leaves you agitated, fearful, or hasty is not from me. Today's world steals faith by speed. It teaches you that whoever is slow is obsolete, whoever pauses is a failure, whoever sees no results is forsaken, and you import that logic into the spiritual life, demanding that I respond like customer service. But I am not an app you manipulate. I am the Father. I want you to slow your step, to see, to feel, to know that some glittering doors are only mirrors reflecting your own greed. When you are humble enough to accept that not every blessing is timely, then you truly mature in faith. Look at the apostles who once mistook the wind for my voice and wonders for proof of power. They learned that not every strong wind is the Holy Spirit's breath, not every light is glory. Many times I let the waves rise not to drown them, but to teach them discernment. So too I permit you to pass through mixed callings, that you may learn neither to chase applause nor bow to allure, but to cling to me, even in silence, even when you see nothing. Do not fear when people say you are slow, that you miss your moment. I do not measure faith by speed, but by fidelity. My true door never passes you by. It waits for you. But if you step through a false door, you must return to the start, and each circuit steals a measure of your peace. Be wise and discern. What arrives in a rush often fades just as fast. What demands prayer and waiting often bears my imprint. There are times I see you bewildered amid 1,000 sermons, videos, private revelations, and signs of the times. You search for me in the crowd of voices, but I am not there. I am in the small room where you kneel, where tears mingle with the whisper, "Thy will be done." You will learn that heaven's summons never come to show off. They draw you inward, where only two remain, me and you. When you find me there, you need no further sign. And when you begin to recognize the difference between the true call and the false, your heart will cease from haste, from the need to confirm endlessly. You will rest under the Spirit's guidance, knowing that not every silence is empty. Sometimes it is how I test your fidelity. One day you will smile, remembering the doors that once thrilled you, for you will see it was my closing them that proved the truest blessing. My beloved, be watchful, but do not be afraid. Listen, but do not suspect everything. True wisdom is born not of fear, but of love enlightened. When you place your trust in me, every counterfeit voice loses its power. For I am the way, the truth, and the life. John 1:4-6. Anchor your heart there. Do not be drawn into the hunt for miracles. Let the miracle come when you are ready to receive it in obedience. Then you will see what I give is always enough, always timely, always bringing you nearer to the light. Therefore, child, as your ears grow trained in discernment, let your eyes learn to look in the right direction. Do not let the screen define revelation. Do not let fingertip taps replace prayer. True light does not shine from a screen, but from my word, the lamp to your feet. There is where I will continue to teach you the truth, amid a world tangled by the noise of signals and the haste of human hearts. There are evenings when you scroll through lines of prophecy, fragments of revelation clips saturated with the phrase, "Thus says the Lord." Each tap, each view, makes you feel closer to me, yet in truth you drift from the quiet where I dwell. Humanity's web has turned digital signals into a virtual sanctuary, clicks into sacred rites. You do not notice that, as the screen's glow falls upon your face, the inner light grows dim. I am not in those quick flashes, child. I am in the Bible opened slowly, where you read not to skim but to settle. As the psalm teaches, your word is a lamp to my feet and a light to my path. Psalm 119:105. The world now trains souls by algorithm, not by the Holy Spirit. It shows you the kind of God you wish to see, not the one you need to encounter. It knows your emotions better than you know yourself. It serves you personalized spiritual content and makes you think it is revelation. But child grace has no smart filter. It does not spring from recommendations. My word does not buy ads. You must come to me by your own will, by real hands, opening scripture, by real breath in prayer, not by a gesture that swipes up for enlightenment. When you let the digital world lead your soul, you allow it to set your heart's sacred rhythm each time you pass over my word, because that clip is shorter and easier. You choose convenience over truth. I do not reproach you, for I know the world is subtler than ever. It does not demand that you renounce the faith, only that you become too lazy to go deep. It does not forbid you to pray, only nudges you toward shallow prayer. And with just that, it has already won half the battle. I see you sit before the screen each day watching others speak about me, yet you no longer speak with me. You have memorized the testimonies of hundreds, but forgotten to record your own. You listen to online prophecies about your calling, yet you have not once asked me in silence what I truly desire of you. The faith you are living is borrowed faith, faith from others, while I still await your own true faith, the kind that needs no citations, no clips, only a single yes. Do you know what most exhausts a soul? It is when it imagines itself full, because it is flooded with religious content, while in truth it starves for the living word. Snippets and quoted posts have reduced my word to slogans. But my word is never a slogan. It is a sword, a loaf, a lifeblood, a breath. When you read isolated quotations without lingering over the whole message, you are sipping droplets instead of immersing yourself in the spring. And then your soul withers, and you do not know why. Do not let digital signals teach you that you must feel in order for me to be present. Emotion is a mirror, not the truth. There will be times you read my word and feel nothing, no stirring, no energy, yet precisely then I am working deepest. True love needs no proof of thrill, it must be sustained by fidelity. To read scripture when your heart is dry is one of the highest acts of faith, because in that moment you love me, not for the sensations I give, but because you know I am real. I want you to step out of the numbers, the views, the shares, the amen counts. You do not need to measure holiness with data. When you pray, you need not take a picture and write a moving caption. True faith lives in the quiet. Fragrant flowers need no billboard. They only need to bloom in season. And faith, if true, will spread on its own without a campaign. Do not let the digital world make you think you must be on display to have worth, for everything I cherish is usually hidden in humility, littleness, and endurance. I know this world teaches you that you must be online to avoid being forgotten. But remember, I was present before you had a connection, and I still seek you, even when you switch off the Wi-Fi. I do not dwell on a server, I dwell in your heart. I do not need your engagement. I desire your faithfulness. When you place my word above your newsfeed, peace will return, not because the network is calm, but because your heart is. And only then will you stand firm amid a world losing its sacred bearings. Some think the more religious content they know, the closer they are to God. But sacred knowledge does not save a soul unless it is lived. You can watch 100 sermons, memorize 1,000 Bible verses, and still not hear me if you never stop to put a single verse into practice. My word does not come to be consumed, but to be obeyed. If you read without living, you stockpile without bearing fruit. The true word blazes forth only when it becomes action, when you forgive, when you choose to love though wounded, when you accept loss for the sake of righteousness. That is the commentary I await from your soul. At times I see you torn between two worlds: on one side, an old quiet Bible with small print, on the other, short clips with vivid sound and captivating speakers. You fear that choosing scripture will make you fall behind. But child, my word is never outdated. It is people who fall out of step. The noise will fade, yet my letters stand firm. Heaven and earth will pass away, but my words will never pass away. Luke 2:1-3. When you place the word above the signal, you lose nothing. You simply recover the life that technology lets slip. Perhaps you will ask, so what must I do to keep my heart pure in a digital world? Begin with what is small each day. Silence your notifications for an hour. Open the Bible instead of an app. Do not try to read much. Choose a passage, read slowly. Read until a single line touches your heart. Write it down, ponder, pray. This is not a retreat method. It is how you return to God's rhythm. Do it quietly without announcing it, and you will find me present in every breath. I do not demand that you abandon technology, but I want it placed under the governance of the Word. Let the screen serve your vocation, not steer it. Let social media be a field where you sow love, not a stage for the ego. When you share a verse, live it before you post it. When you hear a sermon, pray instead of commenting. Every click can become a holy act if it begins from true love. Beloved, the virtual world is reshaping the face of faith, but I want you to keep the true face, the face that bows, that prays, that reads my word slowly in the night. When you let my word lead, no signal can manipulate you. And then I will teach you to recognize that silence is a language, waiting is an action, and when you switch the device off, heaven still blazes within your heart. In time, when my word fills your mind, you will no longer chase artificial lights. You will begin to understand that true blessing is not measured in material. Things cannot be counted by numbers and need not go viral to be confirmed. You will see that the rarest gift is not having more, but having enough. And in that enough, when you choose faithfulness over prosperity, you will enter the next lesson I give, where blessing is built on purification, not on luxury. There are days you feel envy toward others, they have more. Go further, live in plenty, and say, God has blessed us. You look at your life, its lacks, its unfinished pieces, its unending worries, and ask, why have you not touched me? But child, my blessing is never measured by the world's yardsticks. The world sees fullness in a wallet. I see it in a heart, a soul that can give thanks in poverty and rejoice amid trial. That is where perfect grace is hidden. Blessed are the poor in spirit, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Matthew 5:3. The world has twisted the meaning of blessing until you start to think I love only when I give. It teaches you that success is the sign of my favor and loss the mark of neglect. But child, my love does not depend on outcomes. It is engraved in presence. I am there when you lose your job, when you are rejected, when your prayers seem unanswered. Grace is not good things happening. It is the quiet strength that keeps you standing when good things fall away. I know the human heart fears smallness. You fear being seen as the loser, so when others are blessed by God with wealth or fame, you wonder what you did wrong. But I do not teach you to envy. I teach you to discern. Some blessings do not come to display you, but to refine you. Some gifts do not lift you up, but hone your soul to stand firm. If I give too soon, you may think I am merely a supplier. If I withhold, it is not stinginess. It is my protection from your own craving. Look back. How many times did you think yourself abandoned, when in truth I was loosening the cords that bound you to the illusion that more is happiness? The world wants you to believe value lies in accumulation. I teach you that value lies in knowing when to stop. Only when you learn to stop do you see what you truly need. Sufficiency, not surplus, is the real treasure. The one who knows enough is freed from the invisible temptation of not yet enough, and that is the blessing I give to those who trust. Some blessings arrive late, wearing the face of suffering. You do not recognize them because you want instant results, but true blessing does not take shortcuts. It walks over lonely hills, through nights of tears, through days of prayer with no reply. Only when your soul has been stripped of every foothold do you see that my hand remains, never letting go. Then you will learn that grace is not addition but subtraction, so that into that cleared space I may come and dwell. My miracle is not to make you rich, but to grant you peace in want. Not to heal in an instant, but to give you the endurance to love, even while you hurt. Do not believe the world's preaching that true faith guarantees you every good thing. I am not a vendor of blessings, nor do I sign a believe and receive contract. I am Father. A father does not hand out prizes, he nourishes. And for a soul to mature, I must let you pass through dry seasons that you may learn to love me. Not for benefit, but for me. Sometimes you pray, Lord, pour your blessing on my life, and you think blessing is silver and gold rank and wonder before your eyes. But I pour blessing in other ways. I grant you the chance to forgive when you are hurt. I give you strength to speak truth, though it costs you. I place you among the hard to love so you may learn to love as I love. Each of these is a miracle, quiet yet profound, unseen, yet eternal. True blessing is always bound to responsibility. The world wants the first part to receive, but I always lead you to the second to live. When I give you something, it is not for you to clutch, but to give away. Wealth is not evil, but it is perilous if misused. For the moment possessions replace, trust you will fear, loss, more than separation from me. Thus I teach you to share, not to leave you lacking, but to remind you that everything you have is on loan, not owned forever. The world applauds the successful. I praise the faithful. It calls the poor failures. I call them chosen that I might draw nearer. As long as you keep comparing your blessings with another's, you waste the time meant for recognizing the miracle in your very breath. You are alive, you love, you are called by name each morning. This is the greatest blessing. Do not hunt for what glitters, acknowledge what is hidden. For in the hidden, I am writing the most glorious chapters of grace. I want you to remember that blessing never contradicts suffering. The cross is not the end of blessing, but the place where blessing is fulfilled. When my Son hung upon the cross, the world saw defeat, heaven saw victory. So too, when you lose, when you hurt, when you accept loss for the sake of righteousness, you are living in the deepest portion of blessing, the portion understood only by mature souls. Whoever wants to follow me must deny himself, take up his cross, and follow me. Matthew 1:6-2-4. This is not a promise of an easy road, but an invitation into true blessing, the blessing of transformation. Blessing does not come to indulge you, it comes to shape you. I do not want you only to receive, I want you to become. As you grow in grace, you no longer measure blessing by what is material, but by the peace within. And when your heart is at peace, you may lose everything and still not be poor, You may weep and still not despair. You may endure and still not grow bitter. That is a wealth no one can take from you, for it is engraved by my own hand. I have seen many ask for miracles while forgetting to ask for the strength to receive the true miracle. Be different from them. Do not ask me to change your life, ask me to change your heart. Do not pray to have more, pray to see more clearly. When your heart is illumined, you will find grace in every drop of sweat heaven, in the most ordinary work. I do not need you to become dazzling. I need you to be true. And the true know this: all outward glory is fleeting. And what truly matters is that each day you live in fidelity to my word. When you understand this, you will stop asking me, "Why have I not been blessed?" and begin giving thanks that you are still being called to be a blessing to others. When you give, blessing doubles. When you hoard, blessing withers. For blessing was not born to be displayed, but to flow. A stream is clear only when it knows how to run. So it is with the soul. The more you share, the more you are purified. And in that purity I will add to you not possessions, but my very self. My beloved child, do not fear when I cut away what you prize. I do not take to punish, I take to replace. I remove the small, so that you may receive what is eternal. Each time you lose, believe that I am making room. Each time you find your hands empty, know that I am preparing to place in them what no one can steal. When you grasp this, you will no longer fear lack, slowness, little or nothingness. For the one who has me has everything. And as you walk in my sufficiency, your heart will naturally detach from the clamor of the world. You will need prove nothing, seek no recognition in another's gaze. You will know you are loved, and that love is enough. Then you will be able to live lightly, give easily, forgive swiftly, and smile often. For true blessing always makes the soul light. And only a light soul can rise close to the light. Once you are founded on sufficiency, and know that blessing is not lodged in luxury, I will begin to teach you to walk not by bursts of enthusiasm, but by discipline, not by emotion, but by fidelity. For true faith is not merely knowing, but living steadily through unremarkable days. And that will be your next journey, where passing feelings yield to the steady breath of a soul that has come of age. My child, there is something this world will never tell you. Faith cannot live on emotion. One may weep in prayer, tremble at a sacred song, be moved at the sight of a miracle, but afterward, without discipline, that flame dies as swiftly as the flare of a match. Emotion is the wind, discipline is the oar. Wind may speed you forward, but only the oar keeps you from being carried away. Whoever is faithful in very little is faithful also in much. Luke 1:6-10, that is, my measure for the mature soul. I know you love the explosive moments, prayers drenched in tears, gatherings electric with energy, prophecies that strike deep. But my child, faith does not live only in such hours. Faith lives on mornings when nothing feels special and you still choose to pray. Faith lives on late afternoons when you are weary and uninspired and still open the scriptures. In those barren days, you are making your soul strong. Emotion may bring you close to me once. Discipline keeps you with me forever. Some love me with a blazing flame, yet soon burn out because they have not learned to feed the fire with wood rather than straw. Straw blazes bright but dies quickly. Wood burns slow yet warms long. Spiritual discipline is the orderly stacking of logs each day. Quiet time, examine, keeping the Lord's Day small group, common prayer. Each seems small, repetitive, unexciting. Yet from these very things a steadfast life is formed. You cannot keep the fire if you do not learn to kindle it anew each day. I do not want you to chase emotions alone, for they easily blind. Emotion may make you think I am far simply because the thrill is gone, but I do not change. I am there in the most ordinary things. When you fold clothes, when you wash dishes, when you care for the sick, if done in love, you are praying. Do not seek me only upon lofty spiritual peaks. Seek me in the steady rhythm of life, where each small act can become an offering. I see you at times fervent, at times discouraged. You begin with zeal, promise me you will read scripture daily, pray your hours, love everyone. But after a few weeks you tire, you forget, you blame yourself, then let go. My child, faith is not a sprint, it is a long road. If you fall, do not be ashamed. Rise and begin again. Discipline is not never failing. It is always returning, no matter how many failures. I do not count your falls. I look to see whether you keep walking. The world praises inspiration. I honor perseverance. Inspiration makes one act quickly. Perseverance makes one live truly. When you are faithful in small things, reading a short passage, 5 minutes of silence, a kind word, you are laying a foundation no storm can topple. Do not despise the simple. Every act you do out of love for me, however small, is a stone in the sacred house that is your own soul. Discipline is not a chain, it is freedom. The undisciplined think themselves free, yet are led by passing moods. They pray when happy and fall silent when sad. They love when convenient and forget when it costs. But you, if you would live truly in me, learn to do what is right, even when your heart resists. Pray when tired. Forgive when wounded. Keep silence when misunderstood. In those very moments I grow within you. There is a kind of strength. The world does not know the strength of the one who perseveres in quiet. I want you to be such a person, not flaunting faith, not proving piety, simply moving steadily while others stop. When others lose patience, keep your peace. When others rush, hold your silence. For I often come not in the thunder, but in a gentle breeze, confer 1 Kings 1912. Only those attuned to my slower rhythm can hear my voice amid the chaos of life. Remember this, the spiritually disciplined are not dry souls. They are those who know how to love with reason as well as feeling. When you pray each day, you are not acting by empty habit, you are teaching your heart to be faithful. When you patiently read the word, though nothing seems new, you are training your soul to listen deeply. It is this very repetition, like breathing, that makes for life. For faith is not a roaring blaze, but a light that does not go out. I also want you not to fear monotony. Monotony is the gymnasium of the soul. There you learn to trust without seeing, to pray without feeling, to love without return. In every chain of seemingly dull days, I am shaping you to stand when storms arrive. Do not seek new sensations. Seek deeper roots in what is old. Each time you are faithful in a small thing, you are telling me, I choose you, not a feeling. And that word rises in heaven like a song. My beloved, I see many who start with you, but not all will finish. They give up not because they are weak, but because they lack discipline. They want quick results, but forget that every tree must sink deep roots before it flowers. Faith is the same. You cannot bear fruit unless you take root in hours of quiet prayer. Roots are unseen, yet roots hold the tree upright. So too, discipline is seldom praised, yet it is what keeps a soul from collapse. When you practice a steady spiritual life, devotions, examine attending the Holy Mass, small fellowship, you are allowing me to shape you. These are not mere rites, they are nourishment. Each time you read the word, I sow a seed. Each time you pray, I water it. Each time you obey, I bring it to sprout. And in due season you will see discipline itself has become springtime in your heart. But my child, do not walk alone. Alone you will mistake your own voice for mine. Seek a spiritual companion, a guide, a community, a friend in the faith. They are not perfect, but they keep you from deceiving yourself. Faith does not grow in isolation. It matures in relationship. In listening, you learn humility. In sharing, you learn love. In praying together, you learn obedience. It is in communion that the soul is kept from growing hard. I know this world exalts self-reliance, but in the spiritual life, self-reliance is a double-edged sword. The evil one favors souls cut off from the community, for then he can make them believe they are more special, that they hear God better than others. Remember this, my voice never divides, it always leads to unity. Spiritual discipline is not only about schedules, it is discipline in relationship, knowing how to listen, how to share, how to remain together, while others choose to leave. One more thing, do not feed your soul only with easy fare. Some scriptures are hard, some truths touch old wounds, some words of mine make you uncomfortable, do not evade them. They are the bitter medicine of the soul. Discipline is daring to remain before the word, even when it exposes you. Only when you let the word touch what is unlovely can I heal you. Read slowly, read deeply, so the word passes through the skin of feeling and reaches the core of your soul. You may ask, how can I keep discipline for the long haul? Remember, discipline does not spring from fear, but from love. If you act only from duty, you will soon grow weary. But if you act from love, discipline becomes joy. Prayer will no longer be something you must do, but your very breath. Reading the word will cease to be a task and become an encounter. When you love, you do not count the minutes. When you love, perseverance comes naturally. And when you've learned to walk in that steady rhythm, you will see peace doesn't come from flashes of ecstasy, but from quiet discipline. Peace comes when you know your life is aligned, even if no one notices, even if no one applauds. Peace comes when you know that every small thing you do is seen by me. I do not wait for grand displays. I wait for a loyal heart. And with such a heart, I will do great things in my own way. My beloved child, I teach you to go slowly, not so you fall behind, but so you endure. Feelings make you want to run. Discipline teaches you to step. Each step, however small, brings you nearer to the light. Do not fear if others move faster. Fear only stopping. For my road is not for the one who arrives first, but for the one who does not give up. And when you've grown accustomed to an even stride through quiet days, I will show you something deeper. The journey of faith is not only to go, but to keep. For as you persevere in little things, the darkness will begin to test you at deeper levels. It will no longer come as outward temptations, but as inward doubts. And that is when you must learn the final lesson, the lesson of holding fast amid an unseen war, where peace becomes a weapon and resilient faith becomes a shield. My child, when you have learned to walk in discipline, do not think the journey is finished. That is when your soul steps into the true battle where no swords ring, no visible wounds appear, yet invisible arrows strike the heart. The enemy of the soul does not sleep. It is neither loud nor obvious, but lurks in your most weary moments. It will not push you to sin outright. It will only whisper doubts. Is it worth it? Are you truly there? And if you let those doubts take root, they will rise into darkness. The invisible battle is not out there, it is within you. When you pray and see nothing, when you do good, and no one is grateful, when you strive to live rightly, and things still go wrong, that is where the real fight happens. The tempter knows it cannot steal your faith, so it works to make you tired. It wants you weary of doing good, discouraged in faithfulness, and unsettled by silence. But my child, do not let my silence make you doubt my love. Watch and pray that you may not enter into temptation. Mount 2641, for in the stillness only a wakeful soul hears my footsteps drawing near. I know there are nights you feel you are wrestling with yourself. Your soul trembles between wanting to believe and wanting to let go. I see you lying there, eyes open and the dark lips quiet, but heart crying out. You think I am silent, yet I am listening to your breathing. On those nights, do not seek feelings, seek perseverance. Do not demand to see the light. Simply hold to a single thread of hope. For the very fact that you still want to believe means half the battle is won. Victory is not reserved for the strong, but for the one who does not leave me, even in weakness. There is a subtle assault. You must beware the fear of being late. The tempter will say, "Others have gone far, you are still here." It makes you feel outdated. It pushes you to rush. Me, it drives you to compare. And once you start comparing, you lose your peace. You forget that each path differs, each calling has its time. I do not use the same clock for everyone. You move slowly not because you've lost, but because I am teaching you to trust heaven's timing. Remember, the first thing the enemy wants to take from you is not faith, but peace. For once peace departs, everything else is easier to seize. It need not push you down, it only needs to distract you. It will sow in you bad news, aching memories, vague anxieties. You begin to react instead of pray, to explain yourself, instead of keeping silence, to defend yourself, instead of entrusting yourself. And in that moment, peace, the mightiest weapon, has been stolen. You must learn to fight without noise. Do not answer every attack. Not every misunderstanding deserves your defense. Do not waste your strength grappling with every shadow. Stand in the light, and the darkness will dissolve on its own. When maligned, bless the speaker. When wounded, speak to me before you speak to anyone else. When afraid, breathe slowly, and remember, if God is for us, who can be against us? Rom 8:3-1. It is not your strength that preserves your peace. It is peace that keeps you from collapsing. I want you to understand that in this invisible war, the enemy rarely arrives with an ugly face. It comes cloaked in goodness. It may convince you that you must do more for God until you forget to rest in God. It may lead you to serve without praying, to preach without listening, to be busy for me until you have no time to be with me. Its trap is not in what is wrong, but in doing what is right in the wrong way. Therefore you must discern. Does what you do bear the fruit of peace? Does it help you love more? Or does it only leave you drained and self-satisfied? Discernment is not separating good from evil, but good from better. Many things look good, yet are not from me. An opportunity, an invitation, a ministry may not be a true call. Ask, after this, am I nearer to the Lord or farther away? If you act for praise, recognition, or proof, you are moving away. But if you act out of love, even quietly, even unknown, that is the sign of my presence. At times you must keep your heart even when others are wrong. Do not let their faults drive you from your calling. When others speak ill, you can still choose gentleness. When others betray, you can still choose fidelity. When others grow cold, you can still choose love. For you do not act for them, you act for me. True victory is not defeating someone else, but refusing to let evil remake you in its image. Do not be overcome by evil, but overcome evil with good. Rom 1:2-1. I know you long to see results, swift justice, blessings made visible. Yet in the invisible war, victory is often what you do not see. It is found in your choosing to believe without any reason, in the moment you pray for the one who hurt you, in the decision to forgive without being asked. Such things do not echo on earth, but they make heaven rejoice. Do not forget that you do not fight alone. Hosts of angels surround you. Holy souls who have gone before intercede. When you are weary, remember them. When you feel alone, call on me in silence. I am present, even when you feel nothing. My presence does not depend on your feelings, but on the covenant I have made. I have promised I am with you always, to the end of the age, Mount 2820, and I do not promise to forget. You will see that the enemy does not fear the loud. It fears the quiet and steadfast. It fears the one who prays when no one is watching, the one who bows in gratitude amid pain. Each time you choose silence over complaint, prayer over retaliation, you weaken it. It wins when you forget to pray. It loses when you remember I am here. Do not think the invisible war is something to dread. It proves your soul is alive. Only those moving in the right direction meet resistance. If you meet no opposition, perhaps you are standing still. Trials are my training not, my punishment. As iron must endure fire to become a blade, so the soul must be tempered to mature. I do not send battle to break you, but to make you strong. And you will know you are on the right road, when in the midst of storms your heart remains at peace. Peace is not the absence of waves, but the knowing who is in the boat. When you have me, you need not fear. True peace does not depend on circumstances. It is the fruit of trust. When you trust, you are at rest. When you rest, you can hear me. And when you hear me, the darkness no longer frightens you. You may sometimes think yourself weak, yet look again. You are still here, still praying, still seeking me, through weariness and confusion. You think you are losing, but truly you stand in the ranks of the faithful. The world will not applaud you, but heaven has written your name among those who do not quit, and that alone is victory. As you stand firm in battle, remember the greatest foe is not the devil, it is the self. The self makes you proud in victory and hopeless in defeat. It tricks you into believing you control the entire journey. But my child, to fight does not mean you must win by yourself. Let me fight for you. You need only stand firm, keep the faith, and I will do the rest. The Lord will fight for you. You have only to be silent. X 1414. Holding fast does not mean never being afraid. It means walking on though afraid. Not never doubting but praying amid doubt. Not never being hurt but loving within your wounds. To hold fast is to know you are weak and still choose to stand in the light. For I do not need perfect warriors, I seek faithful hearts. And when the battle quiets, do not forget to give thanks. Remember that every scar you bear becomes a witness to redemption. You are not strong because you have conquered, but because you have not ceased to believe. You are not called to perfection, but to fidelity. Keep walking calm, steady, within the light of peace. Now that you have learned to walk, to stand, to keep, I want you to profess your faith not in numbers but in deeds. Love someone you once avoided. Forgive the one who hurt you. Read the word today as if for the first time. Do not wait for a miracle, for that small act of obedience is already a miracle. And when you live this way, you will know the battle has ended, not because the darkness vanished, but because the light within you burns bright enough that it no longer makes you afraid. Though you may feel unworthy, not strong enough, not ready to carry what I entrust to you, understand this. My choice is not based on your perfection, but on a heart that yields. I do not seek the flawless. I seek the one who can say yes amid confusion, who bows in trust though the way is unseen. For with that one small yes, I can do great things your own strength could never reach. When you say yes, you open your heart to peace. Let healing flow. Welcome joy's return and make room for miracles. Say yes to me, not because you understand everything, but because you know I have long said yes to you, in every breath I have given, in every heartbeat sustained, in every time I kept you from depths you never even knew were there. I have spent too long seeing myself through the lens of denial, listening to the old whisper that I am not skilled enough, not strong enough, not good enough. But my child, have you ever paused to ask who speaks those words? Is it I? No, I have never uttered sounds that wound your soul. I have never set you on a scale against another, for I know every breath, every glance, every fold in your inner life bears a mark that only I truly read. You do not need to become someone else to be loved, for this very form, this very soul I shaped with my own hands. You are the crystallized breath of my being, a work warmed by the Creator's touch, a masterpiece over which I once looked and said, "Very good." Do not let the world's words choke the gentle call I planted in your heart. They may look at you with suspicion, mock you, even walk away, but I have never left. When they shut a door, I open another. When they turn their backs, I open my arms. When they smother hope, I breathe the ember back to life. I am not concerned with what they say behind you, nor with how they treat you, for your destiny rests in my hands, not on their lips. I am the author of each chapter of your life, and now I am writing a new one, no longer soaked with the tears of the past or the burdens of earlier days, but radiant with freedom, joy, and a love restored. You will not have to relive those wintry seasons where memory stings and your gaze keeps circling what was lost. Let me close the old book, for every page is already steeped in tears and reproach. Now I write a new one where each line is woven of light and hope. It is no longer a story others impose, but the story you and I write together, where you are no longer the victim, but the chosen one, the beloved, the one sent. When you learn to say yes in small things, I will lead you into great ones. When you choose to trust amid confusion, I will cut a path through the fog before you. I do not need you to understand everything, only to be willing. For when you place your hand in mine, you will find every burden growing light, as wind every fear dissolving like mist. I know you have trembled, despaired, and wanted to quit. Yet I also know there is a small flame within you, and if you will only say yes, that flame will blaze. My beloved child, do not measure your worth by your failures. Each stumble is only a stepping stone for me to raise you higher. Do not think I choose you because you are strong. I choose you to reveal my own strength through you. When you are weak, I am mighty. When you are spent, I am abundant. When you are weary, I become your very breath. That is why I say, my grace is sufficient for you. Do not fear when I dismantle the old. Loss is not punishment, but an invitation into the new. I am remaking, rewriting, resurrecting all things. Those who leave in doors that close exist, only to clear the way for what I am about to give. Believe that nothing is taken without meaning. Every pain carries within it the seed of transformation. If you keep a tender heart, you will see miracles sprout in the driest ground. You have asked why me, but I ask why not you. In a world swollen with noise, I choose your heart's voice, frail yet true, trembling yet pure. You think I need a hero, but I seek a heart that knows how to weep, to love, to trust. I choose you not because you are ready, but because you dare to say yes even while afraid. It is that small courage that stirs the heavens. Therefore, my child, do not look back. The past cannot define you. Only I have the right to name you. I call you beloved, redeemed, chosen. Lift your head, for I do not write your life with the black ink of guilt, but with the blood of love. Every wound you bear will become a testimony of grace. Every tear you shed will be exchanged for joy. When you say yes, you open the door for peace to flow in like a cool spring. You will feel old burdens slip away, chains of self-contempt fall to pieces, and in the quiet of your own heart, you will hear me whisper, I am here. Not far off, not only in grand things, but in the rhythm of your very heartbeat. I have never left you, not even on the nights you thought yourself most alone. Now I am inviting you out of the comfort zone, out of the shadow of doubt. Nothing great is born out of fear. Let your feet step onto the water as Peter once walked amid the waves, so long as your eyes stay on me. You may falter, you might sink, but I will grasp your hand and lift you up. I do not seek perfection, I seek a trusting heart. And when you dare to say a wholehearted yes, you will see everything change. Joy returning, peace filling you, and a new future unfolding. Not a future you sketch by effort alone, but the future I have prepared, where every hurt is healed and every longing answered. I do not promise you will never face storms, but I promise to go through them with you. I will not forbid your tears, but I will wipe them away with my own hand. My word to you today is not only to comfort, but to awaken. Awake from the days spent drifting in fear and self-doubt. You are no longer who you were yesterday. The past no longer has the right to imprison you. I am doing a new thing, bright, wondrous, and full of meaning. Believe it and say yes. If these words touch your spirit, let your heart answer Amen as an act of trust. Amen is not only a sound, it is the seal of faith, the beginning of a new journey between you and me. Step forward, my child, with a trusting heart and eyes set ahead. For I who called you out of the darkness am waiting for you to step into the light of a beginning that never fades. Though your reason may not yet grasp it, there is a marvelous power hidden in obedience. When you choose to follow the call of the Creator, even when the road is shrouded in cloud, the very moment you say yes, the universe shifts and the widest doors of your life swing open. Not because you possess enough strength or knowledge, but because you have entered the current of the divine will, the current that carries you toward things no eye has seen and no ear has heard. People may sneer and label you foolish, but they cannot hear the whisper meant for your soul alone. They were not chosen to walk this path, they do not bear the seal upon your brow, and so they cannot understand that your steps trace a sacred journey written in the heavens. Do not fear being misunderstood, for I understand. Do not waver when no one believes, for I believe in you. Your obedience, small as a mustard seed, has the power to shake the very gates of heaven, for it rises not from reason, but from faith. As you walk in that surrender, I will lead you across places that seem barren yet hide cool springs. I will guide you through fire without the scent of smoke upon you, for my hand surrounds you like an unbreachable fortress. The promises I give you cannot be stolen, for they are etched in letters of flame within an everlasting covenant between me and your soul. Others may refuse to bless, but they cannot block the blessing. They may oppose, but they cannot undo what I have ordained. That covenant is an indelible seal, a promise signed with the breath of the Most Holy. You are chosen, kept, and sheltered in my hand, a hand that has never known defeat. Remember, when you tremble, I am steady. When your heart is shattered, my love remains whole. No power, not even from the deepest darkness, can separate you from the love I have for you. When it feels as if everything around you is collapsing, when the enemy strikes your health, your mind, your confidence, your relationships, know that he is only afraid. He knows you are chosen, so he seeks to weary you, to isolate you in the long night, to make you think you are forgotten. But you have never been alone, not for a single moment. In the stillness of an empty room, I am there not as sound, but as a presence gentler than words. I send you small but mighty signs, a verse that surfaces at the precise hour, the kind glance of a stranger, a breeze that settles your heart. You think it is chance, but it is my message, my breath touching your life to remind you I have never departed. Do not mistake my silence for absence. In the quiet, I am reweaving threads that snapped in your story, ordering what seemed tangled into a tapestry more glorious than before. When you think all is broken, I am preparing a wondrous restoration. Nothing is too late when my hand intervenes. Human hands may ruin, but I can restore. People may seal a door, but I can carve a pathway through a wall that looked unbreakable. Believe that I am the God of rebirth, the one who turns ashes into bloom, pain into glory, loss into a testimony of my unfailing love. So do not look back. The past is only shards that cannot define your future. What you have endured was never meant to hold you, but to ready you for the road ahead. When I close a door, it is not to punish, but to protect. When I take something away, it is not out of disdain, but to place something greater in your hands. Remember Lot's wife, who became a pillar of salt, for looking back, a lesson to your soul that there are things which, if you keep turning toward them, will trap you. I do not call you to retreat, I call you to advance. Every wound, every tear, every collapse has been seen by me, and I am turning them all into witnesses of my faithfulness. Behind you lie lessons, before you lie promises. Do not let old memories root you in barren ground, for before you is a promised land where milk and honey run free. Dare to take even a single step of faith, for the very moment you move, I will shift mountains, open seas, and set your feet on the road I have prepared. Your footsteps will no longer be steps of fear, but steps of faith upheld by boundless power. When you believe, every limit dissolves. When you yield, every wall falls. And as you keep walking, you will discover you are moving within a miracle, the miracle of presence, of peace, of a love beyond all understanding. Believe that none of your tears are meaningless. I count each one, keep them in a vial, and use them to water the seeds of your faith. Whenever you think yourself weak, that is when my strength is made complete. Whenever you feel loss, that is when I am preparing to give you what cannot be taken away. No trial comes that I cannot turn to your good. Every storm only drives the roots of your faith deeper into my soil. Every wound only makes my light shine through you more brightly. You are not failing, you are being refined. And in that furnace, the true gold of your soul is being forged. When you look back, you will understand that every pain, every lonely hour, every night of tears carried within it a fragment of a miracle. Not a drop of your sweat is wasted in my design. Everything you lose is only the opening step toward what you are about to receive. You are being remade, prepared for a new season, a season where buried dreams rise again, where what seemed dead begins to bud. Let me do this, do not resist. Release your fear, so I can fill you with a peace not born of this world. I am calling you, not to turn back, but to move forward, for ahead lies what I have promised. You need not live in regret nor carry the weight of sins already forgiven. Believe that I am making all things new. Look toward the light, for there your future awaits. I who began a good work in you will bring it to completion. You do not walk alone, you never have, and you never will. Engrave this upon your heart. My hand has never failed, and it is holding yours. Every whisper of the wind, every star, every heartbeat declares, do not fear, I am here. You need only keep your heart still, for the stillness of faith is the loveliest song offered to me. And as you sing, heaven will open, earth will shift, and the doors I have appointed will swing wide before you. Do not doubt, for I am at work even when you do not yet see. Do not worry, for I am arranging all things even when you do not yet understand. Walk on, believe, obey, for in each small step you draw nearer to the wonder I ordained for you from the beginning. And when you arrive at that place, you will look back and smile, for now you will know every tear, every lonely day, every time you thought you had lost everything, was the very moment I was leading you to the blessing you had prayed for. Nothing is forgotten. No prayer is in vain. All rests in my hands, hands that never fail, hands that continue writing your story with the ink of eternity and the light of faith. Beneath the quiet surface of days that seem so still, a spiritual storm is rolling around you, unseen. Yet every tremor echoes into the depths of your soul. The adversary stands watching your weary breaths, your sleepless nights, your sweat, and your tears, savoring a cruel delight when you buckle. It thinks it has won, that your faith has cracked like old pottery. But there is one thing it will never understand, the small flame within you. The flame of faith, though flickering, still burns beneath the ashes. Every prayer you whisper in the night, every time you keep silence instead of complaint, becomes a bright arrow flying straight to heaven. I have listened, I have seen, and I have recorded. That is why I chose you, not because you are flawless, but because in your brokenness you still choose to believe. While the world demands proof, a single promise from me is enough for you. While others seek shortcuts, you choose the narrow way, the path that leads to life. That very faithfulness moves me, stirs the heavens, and calls forth miracles from the driest ground. You are not ordinary, nor are you invisible to my eyes. I call you by name. I hold your hand through the storm. Though you feel as if everything is dissolving, finances, health, relationships, even a fragile hope, know that none of this slips beyond my control. I am tempering you in the fire, not to destroy, but to refine. Like gold, your soul is being purified to shine more radiantly than ever. Every tear you shed is a prayer written in sacred ink, and the angels have gathered each drop, and set them before my throne. They are not lost. They are kept as testimonies of your faithfulness. The day you think yourself weakest is the day my power moves most mightily in you. When you feel most lost, I am guiding you to the place of promise. Do not mistake my silence for absence. Do not confuse delay with denial. I am silent because I am weaving wonders in the dark where you cannot yet see the whole design. Picture a master artisan, patiently knotting every thread beneath you see only a tangle. Above it is a masterpiece. So it is with your life. I am joining fragments that seemed meaningless to create a radiant tapestry. Every sorrow you endured, every loss that seemed pointless, is being repurposed in my hands for something great. You think you are moving backward, but truly I am drawing you to a sacred starting line so you may be launched farther than before. Now when you are tired and your heart feels nearly dry, pause and breathe deep. I am here not as a distant deity, but as a father bending low to wipe the tear at your eye. Let your heart grow calm, for the appointed time has come. All that you have waited for, every promise you have clung to, is beginning to crystallize. I do not promise a life without pain, but I promise that no pain will be wasted. Every wound will become a seal of victory. Every scar will tell the story of grace. And when you look back, you will know I never left you, not for a single second. My child, I am about to do something that will draw heaven's gaze. I will overturn what you thought could never change. Someone will come into your life not to embellish a dream, but to confirm the promise I planted in your soul. They will not bring the miracle. They will be the beginning of miracles. They will see what the world could not see in you, the light I placed in your heart. They will open doors you have knocked on until your knuckles bled yet never opened. They are the answer sent in due time, the witness to a promise fulfilled. I arranged this meeting before you even knew to ask. Nothing is random. Everything moves within. My plan, every person you meet, every bend in the road, every moment that seemed hopeless, is a step toward the season of restoration. And when you think time has slipped by in vain, remember, my clock does not err. I am never late. Time in, my hands does not flow as the world's time flows. When I say the appointed time, it means every factor in heaven on earth and within human hearts has been made ready. I will hasten what others wait a lifetime to see. I will shorten distances that once looked far. I will make you look back and declare, only God could have done this. For I have promised and I never forget my word. The miracle I am preparing is not merely material abundance, but a total renewal, the restoration of honor, the healing of your soul, the rekindling of faith. What was stolen will be repaid in double measure. I will set you again upon a firm foundation where no storm can shake you. Vindication is coming not through your arguments, but through my acts. Those who doubted you and mocked your faith will witness what I do so that none can deny it. I will turn your shame into radiance, your tears into a crown, and the very place where you fell will become an altar of glory. You have learned to be silent in pain, to give in lack to love while wounded, and for this I set my special seal upon you. No one can take what I have decreed. Keep your heart humble, for humility makes way for glory. Do not chase another's light, for the light you carry is unique. You need not prove your worth. It is engraved in the palm of my hand. When others are praised, do not lose heart. When they are blessed, rejoice. For when your turn comes, heaven will open. And once that door is opened, no one can shut it. The next 2 minutes, though they sound so brief, are in the courts of heaven, the gestation of a great turning. Everything you have long awaited is being set in motion. I am sending angels to align to clear the path to open the way. Delay is about to dissolve. Sealed doors are about to spring wide. I will not give you merely an opportunity, but a new life where miracles are no longer distant, but the breath of each day. Do not be afraid. What is coming will surpass imagination. When you see it, you will understand why I led you through the wilderness, why I allowed your tears to fall. The dry days made you thirsty enough to receive the rain of blessing. The darkness taught you how bright my light truly is. And when the dawn of miracles breaks, you will know that I never forgot you, never left you behind. All I have spoken will come to pass just as it is written. In its time, I, the Lord, will hasten it. Now is that time, the time of restoration, the time of miracles, the time of rebirth in grace. And that miracle, my child, is yours, complete, sacred, and irreversible. Though tomorrow holds storms, do not tremble, for time is not your enemy, but the friend opening the way to your destiny. Remember, every moment rests in the palm of the one who rules over all. When you sow seeds of hope into the soil of trust, he himself will tend them with the light of grace and the gentle rains of mercy, until one day that tender shoot rises from the wasteland and blooms in splendor. Nothing comes early or late. All things arrive right on time, for God's timing never strays from his design. When you think you are waiting, it is truly God refining you, in silence, shaping your soul to be soft enough to receive the fullness of his favor. Do not fear today's darkness, for the light has been prepared to blaze at the needed moment. Believe that what seems delayed is in truth the perfect part of a holy plan you have not yet recognized. When he says the ground is ready, you are ready. It is the hour when heaven and earth together bear witness to a new beginning. Every speck of dust, every breath of wind, every beat within your chest resounds with the rhythm of life rising again. What you have wept over where you have stumbled and fallen will become a river of blessing that carries away the old sorrows. God is never late. He arrives precisely on time, and he comes to do what no one dares to dream, to part the Red Sea in the midst of ordinary days and make the impossible possible. Manna will fall when you think you have no strength left. Water will pour from the barren rock of a heart presumed dead, and in the moment of danger the lion's mouth will close to shield you. The proud walls of limitation will collapse. The chains of fear will shatter, for his power does not fade with the years. The one of yesterday is the one of today, and forever the one of ages, unending, unchanging, untiring, unrepentant. Abide in his presence within the safe haven of the word, where every storm falls silent before the majesty of peace. When you choose to be rightly placed, to be where your heart is surrendered, the miracles will begin. What is coming will not only astonish your mind, but make your soul tremble with glory. This is no longer a hazy hope, but a living fulfillment. Dreams you thought had withered will be breathed to life again. Prayers you feared forgotten will be answered in ways wondrous and beyond understanding. This moment is not an accident, but a rendezvous ordained between you and the Creator. Now the door you have long desired will open, and your steps will bear the imprint of his power, so that the world will have to say, "Truly, God is with this one." You are not imagining things. It is not fantasy that gives birth to your faith, but his Spirit stirring, tapping gently at the wall of your heart. Each time your heart trembles over what you cannot yet fathom, each time a sudden stillness settles on you in the storm, that is, his whisper in the depths of your soul. The strength you feel in weariness is not your own. It is the unseen hand, lifting you, holding you from collapse. At times you cannot catch his voice with your ears, yet your soul still knows, for he speaks in a language only the humble heart can understand. Every tender touch, every breath of comfort is the imprint of God at work, confirming that nothing you have passed through is without meaning, and that all of it is leading you toward the wonder drawing near. There are no coincidences in the life of one who believes. Every turn is a measure in a sacred song, where the low notes matter as much as the soaring ones. When people overlook you, God steps in. When others turn away, he draws near. When all say it can't be done, he smiles and whispers, "Watch me." You will witness miracles unfold before doubting eyes, and they will wonder how you still stand, how you shine after so many storms. They will ask, why didn't you break? By what strength did you overcome? And the answer will need no words, for the light of grace will radiate from your very life. You will know that only the mercy of God can wrap a shattered heart and mend it with the threads of love. He does not merely pull you from the abyss. He sets you upon a new plane of favor. What was once a wound will become a testimony. What was once a tear will become a radiant pearl in His hand. From obscurity you will be called forth to shine. From rejection you will be received and honored. From low places you will rise to heights His grace has prepared. What seemed lost will be restored in a fuller form, for God never returns the old as it was. He gives what is better, greater, and deeper. And when you look back, you will understand that every step, however rough, was a lesson in love. No tear was meaningless, no long night wasted for each. Sorrow was a furnace for your faith, and every trial a doorway to glory. God does not will that you merely survive. He wills that you live in abundance, living fully in the knowledge of Him. In the days you thought yourself alone, He walked beside you in secret, hearing the voice of your heart when your lips could form no words. When you thought all was over, that was the moment He began to write a new chapter with your tears for ink, your endurance for parchment, and His love for the script. Let your heart find its rest in His hands, for their fear is no more, only trust. Let every breath become a hidden prayer, every step a quiet hymn of praise. For God does not only bless when you obtain what you desire, He blesses the very journey on the days no one sees, through the nights no one hears. In each moment you choose faith over doubt. And when His appointed time arrives, all things will blend like heaven's chorus. Every pain will turn into the dance of victory. Every wound will become a witness to the power that heals. This is your hour, the hour He has long prepared, the hour when all that seemed random now gathers into a perfect tapestry. Do not fear your smallness beneath the vastness of the universe, for the one who made the stars is the one who holds your hand. He forgets not a single tear, overlooks not a single whisper. Every smallest desire dwelling in your heart, He knows it, remembers it, cherishes it. And when the season comes, He will bring that seed to life at the right time, neither early nor late. Stand firm, lift your head, and walk in the light of faith. For what is coming will not only change your circumstances, but renew you yourself, so that you become a living testimony to God's faithfulness. What He began, He will complete. What He promised, He will perform. Whom He has loved, He will never cease to love. And you, O chosen one, know this. In the very moment you feel most weak, His strength burns brightest. Do not fear tomorrow, for the one who holds tomorrow is holding your hand today. In the soft glow of providence, know that nothing unfolding now is random or without meaning. You did not stumble on these words by chance, for I chose the moment to come to you when your heart had grown weary of battles fought in silence, when your soul trembled on the border of faith and despair. I see the smile you try to keep before others, and I also see the tear that never spills from the corner of your eye, the silent questions that haunt you. Lord, do you still remember me? Do you still have a plan for my life? Today I come not to justify nor to explain why things have happened as they have, but to engrave one certainty upon your heart: I am still your God, and I am still at work in every breath you take, even when you can no longer feel it. I am not a capricious God, nor a distant onlooker when you collapse. I am the Father, the one who has never abandoned you, never stopped working, even when my hand simply held you quietly in the dark nights you could not perceive. I labor still in the hush, in spaces that appear hopeless. I bring to completion all that I begin, and you, my beloved child, are being shaped within that completion. You thought you were exiled to a wilderness for doing wrong, that my silence was punishment. Not so. My child, the wilderness is not a sentence but a school I chose. There the noise of the world falls away, and only my voice echoes in the wind, gentle yet resolute. There I teach you to know me, not by feelings, not by signs, but by a faith refined. The wilderness is the classroom of faith, where you learn to trust the promise before you see the result, where you learn to walk through days without answers. You have endured and stood firm against the winds of doubt, and now because you have passed the test, I open before you a new land. It is not merely a reward, but the fruit of transformation within you. The old self has died in the desert, and the new is being born strong, resilient, full of faith and humility. Now I lead you into the land I promised. You will step through doors you never had the keys to, for I myself am the keeper of the keys. You will dwell in houses you did not build for. My grace has raised them for you. You will gather sweet clusters from vineyards you did not plant for. These are the fruits of faithfulness, not yours but mine. What you lost was not an ending, but a clearing of the way for what I am bringing forth. Every tear you shed upon the parched ground I recorded, and now it becomes rain that makes flowers bloom in the land I give you. My child, do not look back on the past with regret, for I am no longer there. I am before you in the light of the new day. Every winding path you walked, every pain you bore, I am weaving into a perfect picture, a testimony that I never left you. Even as you passed through the valley of the shadow of death, I walked beside you, whispering to your heart, "Fear not, for I am here." There are times you could not hear, my voice could not feel, my presence, but that was because I was teaching you to trust my nature rather than your feelings. True faith needs no proof, it needs surrender. When you stand at the boundary of hope and despair, remember that right there I rewrite your story. What appears to collapse is the foundation of a new work. You thought I was silent, but I was speaking another way, holding you back, allowing one door to close, so you would not wander where you do not belong. I know every beat of your heart, every hidden thought, every fear you have not dared to name. And I speak to you each day, though you do not always notice. I love you, I have chosen you, and I have never ceased writing the next pages of your life. Now you are about to see the things you once prayed for in tears take shape. Not because you are perfect, but because I am faithful. The promises I gave are never void. They have only awaited their appointed hour to bloom. You will see me turn what once made you weep into joy, turn loneliness into nearness beyond anything you have known, turn the barren desert into a watered garden. You will not merely be restored, you will be made new, not returned to what was but formed into who I always intended you to be: strong, kind, discerning, and full of power. I want you to know that in every season I remain Lord. When you walk in sunshine, I am your shade. When you lose your way in the night, I am your lamp. When you are weak, I become your strength. When you fall, I am the arm that lifts you. Not for a single moment are you forgotten. The universe itself may change, but my love for you will not fade. It endures like the very breath I give, fierce as a fire that will not go out. I once asked, "Why must I pass through suffering?" And I answered, "Because only in the fire is gold refined, only in the wilderness do you come to know who I am." Your tears are seeds sown into the earth, and the harvest of joy draws near. You will stand in a field of blessing, lift your head and say, "My Lord, you have done wondrous things." In that very moment you will understand that without the darkest days, you would never have known how radiant the light can be. Without closed doors, you would never have learned the worth of a door opened by the hand of God. Keep your heart tender, so I can continue to write upon it. Do not resist the process I am working in you, for every trial you meet is not for destruction, but for refining. Every delay is not a refusal, but a preparation. I am placing you in the right place at the right time, so that you may carry my glory to places you never imagined. Believe that nothing is wasted. Every second of waiting, every time you endure, every time you choose forgiveness over resentment, All of it is building something greater than you can conceive. My beloved child, do not fear the future. I have entered it before you ever arrive. I have prepared not merely for your survival, but for your abundance. Everything you have lost I can restore in double measure. Every door that has shut I can open another wider, brighter, better. Let your heart rest in peace, for I am steering the vessel of your life no matter how high the waves. Trust the rhythm of my heart, for every beat sounds two words, my child. And when you look back, you will see that in the days that seemed darkest, my light surrounded you with the greatest strength. When you felt nothing at all, I was accomplishing the greatest work within you. Therefore, keep walking, keep believing, keep holding fast to the promise. I, the one who called you, am also the one who will complete the work. No one can shut what I have opened. No power, no person, no circumstance can steal from you what I have ordained. You are mine, and your portion will not be taken away. Lift up your head, for your time has come, the time when grace meets faith and miracles begin to bloom upon the very ground that once seemed the most barren in your life. I know your heart still trembles after so many storm-worn months, yet within those tremors, I can feel a current of courage rising like a seed, pushing through the soil to find the Sunday. So when the night descends, when human voices fall silent, and the world sinks into stillness, I open the innermost door of my purpose and invite you in to see what I have long kept hidden in my heart. None around you know this, not even the wisest, for there are things not meant for mortal ears, but entrusted to a soul that has passed through fire and still carries the gentle fragrance of earth. You have passed through fire, through betrayal, through empty promises, through nights so long that even your breath turned to stone. In those dim places I laid across your shoulders a mantle of endurance, not so you would strain, but so you would learn to tread lightly through sorrow. In mornings that seemed to hold nothing, I still walked beside you, counting each slow step, each moment you wished to quit, yet would not fall. You thought you were only a shadow, but from that shadow I measured the length of the light awaiting you ahead. The new chapter of your life does not open to applause. It begins with my whisper. It does not require the glare of a stage. It asks for a heart acquainted with the dark, so that when the first light bursts forth, it does not blind, but warms from within. I allowed paths to slow and doors to close, not to bar your way, but to bring this hour into its right season. Some fruit sweetens only after the fiercest sun, some rivers reveal a crossing only when the waters recede, and some callings are given only when shoulders are strong enough not to break. Now you are ready, your heart deep as an ancient well, your soul quiet as the wind after rain. And I know this is the hour when you touch what you once called a dream, and I call destiny. Let them say you are a dreamer. Let them measure you by the short ruler of their lives. I know your value does not rest in human eyes. They may leave, ignore, or return once you stand firm and claim they always believed. Let them. Do not let their words distort the face I have shaped by faith. Do not let the emptiness they left be filled with bitterness. I, the self-existent one, am the one who sets your place. No one can pull you from where I have planted you. When the time is ripe, I will lift you in a way no one can claim as their doing. I will prepare a table in the very place where they once doubted you, and set upon it the dishes of grace that only fidelity understands. They will see but cannot hinder. They will hear your name sounded in places they never wrote it. I will cloak you with a light that glows from within, not blinding, but warm. I will anoint your brow with the oil of wisdom and peace, a portion no storm can sweep away. And when you look back, you will know I never required you to survive by yourself, for I carried you in my arms across every chasm. It is no accident that has brought you here. Your soul has been drawn by a sacred cord like a compass needle finding north. I have engraved your name upon the miracle that is coming. It bears a mark that cannot be mistaken. Before 9 o'clock tonight, you will see my signal, not loud, not showy, but clear as a flame in the mist. Tell no one, for some will bring fear, and others will sow doubt. Keep this moment with silence and unshakable trust. Let the miracle take root in your heart before it blossoms before human eyes. When I act, do not rush to display it. Let the roots reach deep before branches spread into the light. If you truly surrender, I need only a small sign for heaven to acknowledge your faith. Not because numbers hold power, but because they carry the yes of a believing heart. When you write those 3 numbers, heaven will hear. It is the red thread binding your heart to the unseen, the declaration of one no longer confused. But remember, the numbers are only a form. What heaven seeks is the heart. I do not promise a level road. I promise my presence at every bend. When the miracle arrives, it may not be a brilliant lightning flash, but an unexpected call, a mislaid letter, a thought that flickers like a small spark, and you will know it is I. Do not fear if the coming days are not perfect, for perfection is not heaven's first gift, faith is. I will teach you how to keep your heart quiet amid the noise, gentle under trial, faithful when the wind shifts. I will send to your side souls who know how to listen, not to carry you, but to walk with you. They will lift you with their silence and remind you who you are. Do not dream of a road without testing. Dream of a heart mature enough to turn trials into wings. Those who have been forsaken know how to welcome others with mercy. Those once mocked understand the price of forbearance. And I will take the very laughter once used to scorn you and make it the wind that bears your boat to the shore that is yours. When you stand upon the summit, I promise, do not strain to prove yourself. Simply raise the cup of gratitude. Remember the days when you had nothing but breath and a brief prayer. Use your new standing, not to speak louder, but to bend lower, to cast shade for the weary. None of the trials have been meaningless. Every tear that fell was a seed that sprouted into faith. If today your heart feels softer, it is because old tears have washed the anger clean. If you feel stronger, it is because days of weakness taught you how to cling to me. Use memory as a compass, not a chain. The past is a lesson, not a prison. I want you strong yet gentle, keen yet warm, humble without self-contempt, head held high without pride. Then your life will be a sermon without a microphone, a hymn without an orchestra, a smile that becomes a prayer. And tomorrow morning when you wake, you will find what I promised. No longer words on a page, but a new cadence of living. You will be entrusted with greater works, placed on higher ground, rooted in deeper faith. No debate is needed, no defense required, for the call from heaven is loud enough to drown every doubt. Walk as one who has vowed not to waste grace. Work as one who believes in the worth of every small movement. Speak as one who guards the heart more than pleasing ears. And when you are tired, return and sit again in the quiet that belongs to just the two of us. I will pour the oil once more, lift your chin and say the shortest yet fullest sentence, I am here. I know every wound within you, how what they did shattered your heart and cracked your trust like glass falling on stone. I have witnessed every tear you tried to hide, every night you spoke to no one and only looked up and asked, "Why me?" I hear it all. The silent pain and the moments you forced a smile while the inside was collapsing. But beloved one, know that I have never turned away, never left your side. When you fell, I knelt beside you. When you broke, I gathered each fragment of your soul with the gentlest hands. Each small piece, trampled and rejected as it may be, is precious in my eyes, for it bears the imprint of you, the one I called by name before you were born. You believed those shards were only memories of sorrow and monuments of failure, but I see otherwise. I see possibility in what is broken. I see light there, a hope not extinguished. I have taken every piece not to discard, but to await the day I set them together. Not as they were, but more beautiful, deeper, stronger. You do not yet know that in my hands nothing is truly lost. What is broken will be mended by love itself, and through every seam, my light will pass and shine, making you more radiant than before. I do not merely repair, I recreate. I do not only weld, I transform. I am making you steadfast like gold, tried by fire, lovely as earthenware refired in the furnace of trial. My child, believe that your pain is not meaningless. It is not a period, but a colon, the place where I begin a new chapter in the story of your life. You will look upon old wounds and recognize them, not as shame, but as the marks of grace. For I will use the very places of pain to raise a platform from which you may tell the world, I fell, but I was lifted. I was weak, but in that weakness I found the strength of God. You will no longer speak as a wounded victim, but as a warrior who has overcome, as one who has walked through shadow to know how precious the light truly is. I did not lead you here to abandon you. I have never called anyone only to forget them midway. Every time you think you are walking alone, that is precisely when I am moving beside you quietly yet never leaving. You have lived through days that felt like being forsaken, but in truth I was hiding you in my hand, so I could heal you where no one else could intrude. I waited not because I forgot, but because I desired all things to unfold in their appointed time. Now that time has come, I am knitting together what was broken within you, raising up what seemed already spent. Yet I am not rebuilding as before, I am making it unbreakable, steady as stone and radiant like a diamond that has been cut. You will see that what once caused you pain will become your strength. You will tell the story of your life, not with the tears of self-pity, but with the gaze of one who has been transformed. That story will bring others comfort and hope, for in you they will behold a living witness that the Lord still acts, still redeems, still loves. They will look at you and fail to grasp how you could rise again after each wound. But I know, because I myself lifted you with my arm and upheld you when you had no strength left. There are battles no one sees, only you and I. In those hours when you sat silent through the night, unable to form a prayer and hurting in your quiet, I was there. I heard your sighs, I saw, each time you chose forgiveness, while your heart bled each time you chose silence instead of retaliation. And now I will reward that, not in secret but openly. All will see my favor upon your life and will witness the wondrous restoration that only I can accomplish. You will come out of the shadows not as the wounded who limps, but as one crowned with victory. The light in your eyes will no longer be dimmed by injury, but will blaze with healing. You thought you had lost everything, yet in truth you were being prepared to receive more. You believed you were cast aside, but I was only moving you out of narrow places to bring you into a broader space. Everything I permit has purpose. Even pain is part of the plan, that you might learn to love more deeply, to empathize more fully, to stand more fiercely. Do not imagine I am unaware of what they said, the words used to belittle you. I heard it all, saw it all, and I also knew it taught you how to lean on me. Without betrayal, you would never have known unwavering love. Without rejection, you would not recognize the worth of being chosen. Therefore, you need not avenge or prove yourself. Let me vindicate you. One day, when people behold your radiance, they will not understand what sustained you. They will be amazed and curious, but you will know, and I will know, for I am the quiet strength that carried you through every long night. My child, remember, pain does not define you, I do. They may bring you low, but I make you stand. They may make you weep, but I wipe your tears and turn them into pearls. Nothing you endure will be wasted. It will become a witness to my kindness. One day when you look back, you will know, without those wounds you could not have grasped the meaning of grace. Therefore, fear no more. I am causing all things to work together for your good. Keep walking though your legs still tremble. Keep trusting though your heart still bleeds. Keep saying yes though the road is unclear, for I am at work. I am lifting you up, enlarging your life, transforming what was a burden into glory. You will see the things that once made you cry will become your song. What once made you fall will become the launch pad that lifts you higher. And when that day comes, you will no longer tell your story as the injured one. You will speak with joy and shining eyes. The Lord was there. He saw me. He healed me. He lifted me. Your story will awaken others. The despairing will find faith again. You will become a voice of hope, a living proof that no one is too broken for God to restore. I know you have been hurt, afraid, and weak. But I also know you will be strong. You will stand. You will shine, not by your strength, but by mine in you. And as you go forth with a mended heart, I will cause all to marvel at what I do through you. They will not comprehend why you remain unshaken after so many storms, but you will smile, for you know it is I who have upheld you. You have watched many pass by while you stood in the same place, empty-handed, your heart heavy with the question, why? You saw doors open for those who seemed not to care for me, who neither prayed nor waited nor sacrificed, and your soul sank. At times you turned away, swallowing tears, and asked, has God forgotten me? Have I done something to make him turn his face? But listen closely, my child, never have I forgotten, nor will I turn away. I remain in those silent intervals that made you feel alone. I am not punishing you, I am training you, and between the two lies a deep valley of understanding that only patient souls will cross. Delay is not denial, it is the overture of preparation. I delay not to break your hope, but to shape you to be worthy of what is coming. I am not stealing your chance. I am giving you the eternal instead of the fleeting. There is a vast difference between being slowed and being shaped. When I train you, it is because I see in you the potential of a steadfast soul, one who can bear blessing without being crushed by it. I do not let you rush ahead like others, for they need only the momentary, but you, I am preparing for the everlasting. At times I let them step first that you might learn to watch without envy, to wait without losing faith, to endure without complaint. They think they are ahead, but in truth they circle around what quickly fades. When I lift you up, no one will dare say it was luck or another's favor or chance for. My fingerprints will be clear upon every step you take. When I bring you out of the dark, all will know that I, the God of perfect timing, have done it. I am never late, child. Everything I do is in season, in step, in the very breath of destiny. If I arrived early, you would not yet be strong. If late, the miracle would lose its meaning. But when I come, doors long shut, swing open, obstacles dissolve, and you will understand why each tear had to fall. You thought my silence meant I did not hear, but I was speaking in the language of waiting, a language only a diligent heart can perceive. While you felt left behind, I was going before you, clearing the path and removing snares you did not see. When you thought my hand withdrew, I was shielding you from what was not yours. The rejection you felt was not a door closing, but my hand drawing you back from the brink. I refused certain opportunities, not because you were unworthy, but because they were unworthy of you. I kept some from choosing you, not because they lacked goodness, but because I have chosen you for myself, for a different road. You believed that what left you was loss, but trust me, you have not lost. You have been preserved. Everything I take with love and purpose. I do not remove what would still be good for your soul. When I make room, it is because I am ready to fill. You see emptiness, I see readiness. You see delay, I see precision. You see loneliness, I see you surrounded by grace. What truly belongs to you cannot be lost for. My hand keeps it. No person and no circumstance can touch what I have appointed for you. Do not compare. Every soul has a path in my design. Others may go first, yet not know the destination. You may seem slow, yet you are moving in the right direction. And when the time arrives, you will see I do more than open doors. I break down walls, move mountains, and shift the clouds for you to pass through. Doors others strive to force by their own strength will open at your breath. For I have promised, and I never break my word. What you take for my silence is the season in which I stitch your soul back together, every wound, every fear, every shattered dream. I am turning the cracks in your heart into places where light can pass through. I do not make you strong so you may boast, but so you may be a witness to the power of grace. When people look at you and ask, "How are you still standing?" you will know the only answer, because the Lord has kept me. When you are refused, do not grieve. That is my choice for you. When a door closes, do not force your way, for there is nothing behind it that is yours anymore. When someone leaves, do not cling, for I am leading you to those who truly belong with you. What departs is not loss, but arrangement. What arrives late is not belated, but ripe. I do not take from you without intending to replace it with something far better. Lift up your head, my child. I am working in the quiet. What seems motionless is moving beneath the surface of the unseen. Like a seed buried in the soil, it appears still, yet life is breaking forth within. You do not see, but I see. You do not hear, but I am speaking still. You do not understand, but I know every breath you take. Believe, even if your faith is only the size of a mustard seed, for I can use it to move mountains. A day will come when you look back and understand every delay had its reason. You will see that if I had given you what you wanted, then it would have undone you. You will thank me for not answering you at once. You will know that sometimes the greatest grace is not in receiving, but in being withheld for the sake of what is more fitting. For I, the God of perfect timing, hold every beat of your heart, every breath, every moment. I have never forgotten you. I have been preparing you for something greater. And when the hour arrives, no one and nothing will be able to deny that I have done it. You are not losing. You are being kept. You are not slow. You are being prepared. You are not left behind. You are chosen, loved, and set in the very moment heaven has ordained for you. You have not lost your calling, nor have you missed the time I appointed. Though tempests make you feel everything has slipped from your grasp, though the enemy whispers that you have gone too far, waited too long, ruined too much, know that these are the tricks of the dark. I do not search for the flawless. I look for hearts that yield. I do not require souls without blemish. I desire souls who bow in humility and say, "Please use me." I have never changed my mind about you, never regretted choosing you. Even if you have strayed, the call I placed upon your life still remains alive and waiting to be fulfilled in my purpose. Every vision I planted in you still beats, still breathes with the breath of the divine. It has not died. It sleeps, and I am about to awaken it by my power. You do not need to start over, for I have never erased you from my design. You need only begin again this time, not in fear or regret, but in wholehearted trust. I will walk with you step by step through the trembling first steps and the steady final ones. Each step now will no longer be tangled or confused at the crossroads of your will and mine. You will no longer chase after doors that have closed, for my spirit will lead you to the doors I have opened for you, doors marked by heaven's seal, which no one can shut. This time you will not stumble from weariness or doubt. This time you will not lose your way amid the words of the world. This time you will walk in the light of clarity and a holy confidence. Not confidence in your own ability, but because you know I am going before you, preparing the way, lighting the path, breaking every snare the enemy has laid with cunning. You do not need to know how long the road is. You need only know that your feet stand firm upon the rock, and that rock is me. As you walk by faith, every barrier will begin to fade. High mountains will be made level. Deep valleys will be filled, for I am going ahead of you. You need not fear the darkness, for I am the light that never goes out. Do not worry over past mistakes, for I have used even your cracks as channels for my grace. Where you once stumbled will become a witness to restoration. Where you once wept will blossom with the fruit of joy. Where you were weak will shine with my strength. This time you will not carry the burden of self-justification. I do not require you to prove that you are worthy. You need only let me prove that I am faithful. My spirit will not only go before you, but surround you. When the enemy builds walls, I will open a way. When he sets traps, I will break them. When he sows doubt, I will plant assurance within you. When he sends winds of deceit, I will kindle the flame of truth in your soul. This time you will not fall, you will fly. You will no longer be bound by the cords of the past, by the voices that whisper impossible or unworthy. Your wings were not forged in days of calm, but cast in the storm. Every trial you have endured has become the strength by which you take flight. This time when you rise, you will not only escape the abyss, but soar above your own fear. I have set within you wings of faith, woven of perseverance, patience, and hope. Do not fear the heights, for I myself am the sky that surrounds you. Do not fear the fall, for, even if your foot slips, my hand will be there to catch you. Not a single stumble lies outside my care. Even when you thought you were collapsing, I was turning those moments into a launching pad for higher flight. You have wept, you have doubted, you have believed. You had nothing left to offer, but I say this, you, yes, you, even in what seems like shattered pieces, are the perfect instrument through which I will reveal my glory. You have heard many voices pulling you backward, the voice of fear, of guilt, of failure. But today I speak to you. Walk on. No one has the right to write your ending but me. The enemy tried to script the last page with shame and regret, but I have torn it away, and on a new page I have written with my own hand, this is the beginning. This time you will move not by your own strength, but by the breath of my spirit. I know you have been tired and have wanted to give up. I know there were nights you prayed and heard nothing, thinking I was silent. That silence was not abandonment, it was preparation. I needed you to slow down so I could work deeply within, that you might not only be rescued but transformed. For this time I do not merely want you to step out. I want you to soar. Soar in freedom and joy, in the purpose I appointed before the world began. This time everything will be different, not because circumstances change, but because you have changed. You have learned to listen, to discern my voice among 1,000 others. You no longer need others to confirm your worth, for you know you are called by the Maker himself. When you know to whom you belong, fear dissolves. When you know who walks with you, the path no longer confounds you. I am placing back into your hands the key to the old vision, the one you thought had faded. But this time you will hold it with hands refined and a heart repaired. You will move without being swayed by human voices, no longer pausing to prove or to argue. You will go forward simply because you believe. And as you believe, everything I have promised will move into motion. When you fly, remember that your wings are not lifted by the winds of the world, but by the breath of my spirit. Every thrust comes from me. Every current serves my plan. The enemy may raise walls, but those very walls will become the platform from which you launch higher. Each moment you choose faith over fear, obedience over hesitation, you are rewriting your destiny with the ink of heaven. Therefore lift up your head, O chosen soul. You are not disqualified from the race, nor forgotten from my register. You have never gone too far to return. You have never waited too long to begin again. You have never sinned so greatly that my grace is not greater still. I still look upon you with the gaze of hope, of love, of an unbroken promise. And this time when you rise, I will cause all of heaven to witness a soul ascending from the ash, not in its own strength, but in the glory of the one who called you out of darkness into light. This time you will not fall, you will fly. You will stretch your wings across the skies of freedom, carrying faith, courage, and my guidance. And as you fly, the world will know that no past is vast enough to block the future I have ordained, no failure deep enough to bury the calling I have inscribed with your name, and no power, however great, can hinder a soul I have lifted. If you truly believe that God's covenant for you is as sure as the heavens that cannot be shaken, then know this, my child, the season of waiting has closed. The years you persevered through the long night, the times you rose, though strength had fled, the tears that seeped into the earth like silent prayers, all have been engraved upon the palm of his hand. You were never alone in those dark hours. He stood beside you, eyes never leaving you, hearing each sigh without forgetting. And now, as the sun of grace begins to rise, the Lord speaks to you, "Enough now, my beloved. It is time to step into the radiant harvest of the very faith you have sown. The seeds you planted in tears and tended through drought have now broken forth and bloom in the dawn of favor. You once thought the Lord's silence meant he had forgotten, but in truth he was preparing a blessing so great it would leave you awestruck. Not a single prayer whispered in loneliness fell into emptiness. Every faint breath of faith rose to his throne. The good you did when no one saw, the small deeds springing from a true heart, he saw them all. He remembers each one. He does not merely see with eyes, he feels with his heart, and that heart has been moved by your fidelity. Now those hidden things will be honored openly, so all may see. Those who are faithful in the secret place will be crowned in the public square of grace. Believe that God has never been indifferent to your pain. When you knelt alone in a quiet room, when no one knew, when tears soaked your pillow, he was there not as a distant deity, but as a father kneeling beside you, drying your tears and urging you on. He has heard every word you managed in despair, every unspoken cry in suffering, and he has recorded them all so that at the appointed time he might turn what you endured into testimony. He never overlooks a broken soul that still chooses to believe. Truly he is drawn to the wounded, yet faithful to those who, though shattered, hold fast to the truth that his grace is great enough to mend all things. You are one of those once broken, yet still loving him, once despairing, yet still praying, once stripped of much, yet still offering your heart. Now the Lord says, "Watch what I will do with everything you have placed in my hands." He will turn your pain into strength, your tears into pearls, shining in the kingdom of hope. Every word you uttered in the night will become a song of praise when the light breaks forth. Every step taken through the fog of trial will lead you into a land where grace overflows. He will set before you a door no one can close, and place in your hand a reward woven from the very nights you refused to surrender. No one can measure the worth of what you have borne, for only God knows each drop of blood, each fear, each heartbeat of faith within you. You have waited long enough, and now the fields of faith begin to head with grain. The winds of favor are moving through your life, carrying the fragrance of fulfilled promise. Days once thought wasted were in truth God's sowing season, and now as you behold the fields turned gold, you will know that not a tear was in vain. God is debtor to no one. All you have offered will be returned many times over, not only in material things, but in deep peace, complete joy, and his presence resting upon your life. When you fought unseen battles, the Lord stood beside you, counting the brave beats of your heart. When you chose forgiveness over resentment, love over retaliation, he inscribed it in the book of life as lines of glory. When you kept the faith, though all else fell apart, he smiled gently and said to the angels, "That is my child who trusted me in the night." And now he prepares to lift you up, not that you might boast, but that others, seeing the light reflected from your life, might know he lives. The trials you have endured were not meant to wound you, but to forge you into a warrior of light. As gold is pure only after the fire, so your faith now gleams after many refinings. You have borne enough, fought enough, wept enough, and through it all, the Lord has patiently awaited the completion of your journey. Now he declares, "It is time for me to act. No more delay, no more silence, for harvest has come. The fields of promise are rejoicing, and his hand is outstretched to set a victor's crown upon your head, a crown not of leaves, but of the radiance of glory. My child, open your heart and receive. Do not gaze back on the past with sorrow. Do not let old scars keep you from embracing the present. Those pains are no longer burdens, but proof that you passed through fire without being consumed, through waters without being drowned. God did not merely witness. He walked with you every minute, every second. And now he wants you to rise and lift your head, not in self-satisfaction, but in gratitude. Believe what is coming will exceed all you ever asked. God will not only restore what was lost, he will give what is new, whole, and more radiant. You will no longer be one who only endures, but one who shares grace. From your story, other souls will find hope, for what you suffered was not in vain. God shines his light through those very cracks so the world may see that his love is stronger than every pain. And as you move through this season of blessing, remember that the root of all glory is faithfulness. Keep your heart soft, keep believing, keep loving, for the covenant never fades. Your God, the one who saw you in the night, will now bring you into the light. And when you stand in the new dawn and look back, you will understand that every tear, every wound, every fall were necessary steps toward the fullness of grace. You have reached the end of waiting. Now, O chosen one, stretch out your hand and receive the reward, for the Lord declares, I will make you see that I am faithful. Now, beloved child, open your heart and offer me the deepest prayers from within, not with ornate words, but with honest breath, with whatever is stirring in your soul. Almighty God, I bow before you and place in your hands my broken pieces, the fragments of a soul long crushed under the weight of hurt. I know you have seen it all, every tear, every hidden sigh. Today I do not come to lament, but to ask that you turn these ruins into good. Please knit my heart together with your loving hands, that from every place of fracture your light might shine. O Lord, let the pain I have known become no burden, but a witness to your mercy. Teach me to love again, to trust again, to live again in the healing light that only you can give. Merciful Father, I come not in strength, but in the frailty of a soul in need of you. I know that in weakness, your power is revealed. Teach me to see pain not as punishment, but as a lesson in love and endurance. Grant me eyes of faith to recognize your hand at work, even in what I cannot yet understand. Help me to say yes to your plan, though it differ from my desire. Make me an instrument of peace, a voice of hope in a wounded world. Mighty Creator, I thank you that you have not allowed my wounds to be meaningless. I believe you can turn ashes to beauty tears, to joy a shadowed past into a launch pad for the future. Give me courage to face, not to flee. Help me forgive those who hurt me. Knowing forgiveness is not forgetting, but entrusting to you what I cannot heal myself. Teach me to trust that all you permit serves a better purpose. Shape my heart that my life may become a living witness to your unchanging love. Good Jesus, I offer you my fears, my loneliness, and all that I cannot speak to anyone. You understand even what I cannot put into words. Lay your hand upon the wounded places in my soul and say peace to you. Make my heart your resting place, that from there I might carry your peace to others. Teach me not to resent, not to despise the past, but to give thanks that you have used it to refine me. Remind me always that you have never left me, not even when I thought I walked in darkness. Heavenly Father, I surrender to you all I do not understand. Every broken dream, every person who has gone, every door shut, I yield them all to you. Turn what I cannot control into the good you intend. Grant me strength to go on, though my steps still tremble. Help me believe you are making all things new, and that nothing in my life is wasted when laid in your hands. Let me know that even in suffering, You are quietly at work. I trust that one day, looking back, I will see how every tear I shed watered the seeds of the wonder you are bringing forth. Beloved Father, I thank you that amid the ruins, you never turned away. I thank you that you have used pain to temper me and tears to cleanse my heart. I thank you that you held my hand when others let go and loved me when I could scarcely love myself. Let me never forget that your grace is greater than my failings, and that in your hands nothing is lost. Lord God Almighty, I thank you that you have not left my sorrow without meaning. You have turned wounds into testimony and ashes into bloom. I praise you for lifting me from nothing and teaching me that my worth rests not in what I can do, but in belonging to you. I offer my whole life as a song of praise, that all I have lived might reflect your kindness. God of everlasting love, I thank you for your unwavering faithfulness. Though I have fallen many times, you remained patiently waiting for my return. I praise you that you have not only healed me, but also made me new, stronger, deeper, more able to love. Every good within me today springs from your grace, and I will etch that truth upon my heart for all my days. Gracious Father, I thank you for showing me that weakness is not failure, but an opening for your power. I thank you for drawing me out of the shadows of doubt into the light of peace. I thank you for choosing me, loving me, and making my life a hymn to your name. Let me live each day as gratitude as breath that remembers your boundless grace. I offer this prayer in the holy name of Jesus Christ. Amen. Do not forget to subscribe and turn on notifications so that together we can build a strong community of faith.